Okay. All right. So welcome everybody and welcome to the Property Management Arrears webinar. My name is Amanda. I'm one of the training specialists here at REPID, and on the panel today we have my colleague Will, who will also be assisting with us today. So basically, part of today's session and in today's webinar, we're going to have a look at some tips and tricks to master your arrears management, learn how to streamline your workflows, boost efficiencies, and minimize some financial risks for your clients. We'll dive into best practice for tracking and resolving arrears while making the most out of your property management system. Whether you're new to arrears or looking to sharpen your skills, this session will give you some actionable strategies to level up your operations within Console. So a little bit of housekeeping today. We are going to have some polls. So I am going to pop some polls up. I'd love for you guys to participate with that. We do also have a chat feature. So if you do have any questions for Will, who again is on the panel there, please feel free to pop it into the chat and he'll be there on standby answering all of your questions. So don't be afraid. We do love an interactive session. Part of the session today, we are going to run through and walk you through a clear understanding of arrears management in Console and the process, tips for effectively communicating with your tenants to resolve arrears, insights into how your property management can assist you with the tracking and automation with your workflows. So that's what we're going to cover today. But firstly, before we get going, we're going to start with a poll. So I'm just going to pop a poll up. I'm going to launch that now. And I'd love for you guys to answer the poll. The first question would be, how often do you check your arrears? Is it daily, once a week, never, and hope for the best? I can see a lot of you have ticked daily, which is really great, which is probably something that I expected, but you never know. That's really great. Thank you. So I'm going to end that poll in about 5 seconds. Just wait. Excellent. I'm going to end that poll. So 100% of you have said that you look at your arrears on a daily basis. There is another poll that I'm going to ask, or a question actually I'm going to ask rather than a poll, is do you use our automations workflow? Just pop it in the chat if you use our automation workflows in Console. So there is a chat box there. If you could just pop it in if you use our automations in Console. So yes, it's okay if you don't. This is part of why we're here today, just to make sure that your system is working efficiently and effectively, and we're going to run through all of that. All right, so let me just change my screen and let's get started. Okay. So I'm sharing my console, and just a bit of an FYI, this is a training session, a training system. So you will see that we've got quite a lot of high number of arrears. So yeah, this is not someone's live account, just an FYI. So, all right, let's start with your arrears settings. Start with the basics of arrears management and configuring your console to align with your needs to make use of the automation is going to be key with reducing and easing your workflow, which some of you are familiar with, which is great. Now, this is permissions based, the parts that I'm going to go through in our settings. So not all of you may have access to that, but if you like this feature and you haven't turned it on, then you can go back and ask whoever is the permission base in your settings to change them. Some of the settings were updated in December of last year, and one of them is the arrears calculation. So on the left-hand side, if I just drop down to my office settings, and if I just scroll down to this section here where it says show effective pay to date. So the effective date is calculated per day, and enabling these settings will show the calculated pay to date per day and display the effective pay to date and balances in your arrears workflow as well. So by turning that on, you'll be showing your effective pay to date. This feature here, which is new, this setting applies to show your effective pay to dates and any funds owed in your tenancy agreement section and also in your timeline, which is a new feature if you haven't noticed, or you may not have this turned on and you might want to come in and turn that on in the back end. Where I was for that was under settings and office, and I scrolled down to show effective pay to date. What that's going to look like now, if I just go to my properties, and let's just choose a random property. Actually, I'm going to type in a property here. So if I scroll down under the tenancy, you can now clearly see the effective pay to date. If I just click on that, I can see the pay to date and what the effective pay to date is. So that's new there, which is pretty handy. We click into the tenancy. Again, if we scroll down under the rent details, you'll be able to see here the rent arrears, what is in arrears, the pay to date, which is effective, and what they're paid to. So that if that feature is not turned on, just to recap where to do that, go under settings, office, scroll all the way down to show effective pay to date, and you might want to toggle that on. Okay. So the next part of configuring the backend is looking at 2 additional configurations that can help you save time and prevent potential revenue loss, which is the SMS notifications. A lot of us in today's world are mobile driven. We have our mobile phones everywhere we go, and phone calls often do go unanswered. And of course, if your tenants know your phone number, they may avoid your phone call because they know what's coming. So SMS might be something that you might want to enable. And to effectively engage and get some early wins, it's essential that that communication is set up. So with SMS notifications, you can enable them both inbound and outbound message in one single step, making it easier for Console to send reminders and updates seamlessly. With outbound SMSs, it is available to all users. Inbound SMS is exclusive for our premium users. So if we just go under still in the settings, subscription, if this is, if you'd like to enable this, here where it says Console SMS Enhance, you can click on Set Up. Up on the top here, in our conversations section envelope, under SMSs, you'll be able to see what SMSs have gone out in the system. You can also see what's failed. So if you ever wanted to come in and have a look to see, you can click into there and you can also see what SMSs and reminders have gone out and if they've failed. So this one hasn't failed. The reminder has gone out, but this one for some reason has failed. So you'll be able to see the SMS outbound there. Also under received, if I had that enabled, you'll be able to see what has been received there. Now, a quick tip before we wrap up on the settings part and configuring your system with those items there, is we want to make sure that our templates are customized before we go and deep dive more into arrears management. Well-crafted templates can ensure that your communications are clear, professional, and effective, and aligned with your brand and personality. Keeping tenants and owners informed is essential in building trust and maintaining transparency and encouraging timely action. Clear and consistent messages help prevent misunderstandings, support strong relationships, and make the arrears more efficient and effective. So if we still in our settings section here and scroll down to our templates, in this section here, we can filter under category, click on arrears and click apply. So you'll see here, these are all of the arrears messages that are in the back end. These ones here with a flag, they're part of your auto communications. To make any adjustments, we can click on the three dots and click edit. If I click in the box, you'll be able to see here any additional merge fields that you can add into these automated messages. So whilst you can add templates, which I'll show you how to add templates, you can't make those additional templates that you add in automated, but you can edit the templates that are in the system that are automated. And if you wanted to show the example, you can just toggle on example from there. To add in a new template, you simply just click add new. How you would like your communications to be sent via email, SMS, who the recipient is. You might just put here, arrears, friendly reminder. The category, you want to make sure you change that into arrears, and you can add in what your subject line is and also your body of your email, and then just simply click save. Just please put here, kindly pay your rent. I'm sure you would word it a lot nicer than that. But this is what it would look like there. So if I just close out of this, you'll be able to see the arrears message here. Always double check your merge fields, just a little bit of a tip. No one wants an embarrassing sort of merge field accidentally placed into the message, so just make sure that you just always review that and click save. So adding in your templates is quite easy to do. Now, with our office settings now sorted, it's time to explore our workflows and automations, the game changers in efficient arrears management. These tools are your secret weapon to staying proactive and streamlining processes and keeping your arrears under control. Let's dive in and see how we can change this for you. Again, some of you might already know this information if you are currently using our system, but let's firstly take a look at our dashboard. So with our dashboard, you do have your change order. If your arrears were all the way down here, or even your commercial arrears were all the way down there, and you clicked apply, it's not essentially in the forefront when we go into our dashboard. So if I want to rearrange what my dashboard looks like, simply click on change order, move or drag and drop the order that you would like, and then click apply. From this section, you can actually click directly into your workflow. And from this particular arrears workflow, there's a couple of things that we can do. If I click on the filters section, I can filter the days in arrears that I want to see and any invoices that might be, in arrears from 3 to 12 days, and click apply. So here you can see invoices. So rent 1 to 3 days, rent 4 to 7 days. And geez, I've got a lot in our 8+ days, which, is not so great. So we want to try and get these sorted. Again, just an FYI, I'm in my test account. So just to recap, dashboard, rearrange your widgets there via the change order, and then these are clickable. And then we've also got our filters that we can start filtering out. So you can see here where it says set up automation. In this particular system, I don't have the automation set up. So think of Console's automation as your digital assistant. It will handle 90% of your tenant follow-up, significantly reducing time and effort spent on chasing up payments. This gives you the freedom to focus on your other tasks. Property management is quite a busy job. And automating some routine processes will not only increase efficiency, but also ensure consistency within your communication. Like any great assistant, though, automations need to be clear, need to be clear instructions to run smoothly. So let's have a look at setting this up. So with your automations, if I just click on set up automations, I'm in rent. If you didn't know, you can also set up automations for your invoices, but I'll focus on the rent part for now. Now, to set this up, just click Edit Preference. We're now going to tell the system what time of day we would like our arrears SMSs to be sent or emails. Now, it just depends on your office, but in my pretend office, we receipt in the morning. So essentially, with the time that you want these messages set up, you want them to be set up after you've done your receipting. So if I just click on the little clock, I might want these to go out at 2:30 p.m. Now, the reminder schedule, if you want to set up your daily SMSs, you then have the ability to keep sending these SMSs out daily, and you have the ability to start them on perhaps maybe day 2 of arrears or day 3, depending on how your tenants pay, and then stop the reminders after 7 days, or you might want to stop them after 12 days. And then you would simply just click save. You can also click view, and this is the SMS that will be going out. So you can, I'll just click on edit preference there. I was in the daily SMS section. If I toggle over to days in arrears, this is where you can see this is already set up, but I will delete these out. This is where we can set up how many days in arrears, which channel we might want to send an SMS after the 3 days, and which template we would like to send out to the client. So it might just be the arrears reminder. Click on add new. Perhaps after the 5th day, I would like an email to be sent, and that template, I would like it the rent arrears. Again, continue on to add new. Maybe on the 9th day, haven't heard from them. I might want to send them an urgent and just click save. Now, by toggling this on, it means that is on our automation is set up. So again, you can go in and change the automated templates to make it more sound a little bit like your brand, your voice, and you can add them into the auto reminders. So now these auto reminders are on. I guess once you start having your automation reminders on and they're all up and running, keep an eye on the performance. And if you're seeing a drop in your arrears and you know that that's working, if the progress is slower than expected, it might be time to refine your approach, maybe adjust your frequency on your automation, or revise your messages, or experiment with different communication channels. Perhaps emails are not working, but you're getting more traction on SMS. The key is to remain flexible and adapt as you need. But with these tools in place, we hope that it transforms your arrears management, and it's a little bit of a stress-free process. So just to recap where I was for that, I was in my arrears workflow and this automation was turned off. It was in red. I clicked on set up automation, edit preference, and started editing my preferences there. Again, it's the same with your invoices. Click edit preference. You can do the same with your edit with your invoice, whether it's a daily SMS or your days in arrears. Wonderful. So now that console, we have our templates in, we've got our automation, our SMSs going out. It's time to now have a look at our arrears management. And the automation obviously is designed to minimize your work, but there's always a case where tenants need attention and perhaps, they're not really adhering to our SMSs, whether it's sending a notice or addressing a breach, or following up, people that say that they're going to promise to pay on a certain day. So with automations firing at 2:30, you want to kick off by wrapping up your arrears, obviously, with your receipting first. And let's go in and have a look at our arrears now. So again, in our arrears workflow, we do have our filters. Let me have a look at this one here on our 8+ days. So say, for example, let's have a look at this one here on 10 Gardner Street. For example, Alison has given me a call and has said to me that, look, I know I'm late with my arrears. I'm going to be paying on Friday. What I can do is I've searched obviously her property. I can message from here if I wanted to message the tenant. If I click on message tenant and just put here payment of rent, and in the body, add in the property address, and in the body I might put here, thanks for your call today and advising you are paying your rent on Friday. We will inform the owner. You can add in your merge fields and we're going to click send. So I've fired that email off to the tenant because they've just called me and said that they're going to be paying their rent on Friday. Where you see here add new, I might want to add in a note. Just put Alison called and advised that they will be paying on Friday. Have emailed the owner to inform them too. Click save. So in the message section here, under the messages, I can also email my owner. Just put rent payment, property address, hi landlord, owner advised, sorry, not owner, tenant advised they are paying rent on Friday. Now, again, you might have a template that you want to add into the system because this is a frequent email that you're going to be sending out to owners, to keep them informed, I guess. So a template of informing your owners of arrears might be one that you want to add in so that you're not wasting your time constantly typing the same emails over and over again. Okay, we're going to send that off to the owner. So that's been sent. Now, because Alison told me that they're going to be paying on Friday, I might actually want to turn off the automated emails and reminders or SMSs that are going out to that particular tenant. Because they've called me, they've informed me, I don't want them to keep getting that. Now, one thing you might not know or need to know is if we turn off the auto reminders for this particular tenant and say they fall back into arrears, this is going to automatically turn back on the auto responses. If I select in my timeline here, I can see that I've emailed the owner, I've added in a note, and I've emailed the tenant. I can actually click on view and I can view what email correspondence has gone out. If I needed the tenant's contact for whatever reason, I can see that there. I do have these 3 dots. If I needed to download the payment history for the tenant as well, I do have that ability to do that from here. So where I was for that particular property is I'm in my arrears workflow 8 to 7 days. I clicked into the property. I've added in my note. I've sent my message. I did a customized message, or I can send these auto messages as well. I have turned off the automatic reminders. And in my timeline, I do have the ability to see what's been happening with that particular arrears. Okay, so the next part of what we want to do is, you can see here that we've got quite a lot of properties here for rent. You can bulk select and message all of these tenants that are in arrears. However, it's just a generic message. It's not going to have anything, I guess, specific for these particular tenants. So if you wanted to send them something that was a generic arrears reminder, you could, but I would probably keep that more towards your automation reminders that are going out. Okay. So again, just in this section here, you're working through your arrears, check the timelines. You can see here this one had a notice of remedy breach sent. Okay, turn off, and you'll also see the notification here. Now, if you haven't sent a breach from the system, I'll show you how to do that now. So if I just come back to this Alison tenant, so say for example, Alison didn't pay on Friday and we do need to send the breach, all we do is click on add new and create form. It's the notice of remedy breach. The template will be whatever template you've got in the system, and we want to pop in the expiry date. So let's just say it's, and then just click create. Once you create that, it's going to take you to RealWorks. Part of this, obviously, you need to have your RealWorks account set up, but this is where it will take you to. You can download, you can save. That's your form, yeah. Okay, so if I just click on close and come back and renew and refresh my page, and if I just come back to that particular property here, you can see I've got here notice of remedy of breach and the date that it expires. If I click into the property, you can also see that here, and I can view the form as well. So some handy things there because you'll be able to see everything, at your fingertips if you needed to. So before we finish up in reviewing your tenants and having automation reminders, you can check this from your arrears screen on who has had their reminders turned off. So if I just scroll here, I can see auto reminders. There's 7 that have been disabled. If I click in that 7, I'll be able to see here that these guys have had their auto reminders disabled. Okay, so that's something to check there on a regular basis. A couple of other things that you might want to be mindful of. If I just click into this, actually, if I'll just go into 10 Garden up on the global search bar, just click out of here. If I click on the tenancy Alison, and if I come up to the timeline and clicking in arrears. So I'll be able to see in my arrears a timeline of every time that the system has either automatically emailed the client, any notes that we've added in, and down below you might want to export this. So if you need to go to VCAT or QCAT, these are things that the member would be, really interested in seeing, and it gives you a clear report on how many times you've contacted the tenants and what messages were sent as well. So this is really handy for you to take if you needed to. So any notes you've added, anytime you've called the owner, sent a notice, email sent or SMSs, you can download that via the timeline and down below here on the export button. Now, moving along in line with going to QCAT or VCAT, whatever state you're from, we want to make sure that we download the correct payment histories. So if we come down to accounts and reports, there's two reports that you might want to download. One of them was in the arrears I showed earlier, which I'll show you again, where you can download that report. The other one here is we've got the rent summary report. So I'll just download that. Now this looks at each payment and the payment period. I'll just transfer this across here. This is the rent summary report that you can clearly see when the rent was due, date paid, rent period, the rent amount that was paid, and the rent date, and what arrears they are currently in. So that one there, you might want to download that payment history. That's one report that you can show there. We just go into the property address, into the tenancy, into your timeline, under arrears. We can export that arrears history as we showed earlier. And if I go down to my arrears workflow, just get to, there it is there. Under timeline, we've got that timeline that we can see, but on these three dots, we've got our download payment history. Okay. So the last part of this session is having a look at your analytics report. So if I just scroll down to analytics, now, if you're making it a campaign to get your arrears back on track, one thing you might want to look at is having a look at these reports, specifically the tenant reports on a regular basis. You know, you might want to, if you're a manager on this call, and you want to drill down on each property manager's arrears, if you work on KPIs, depending on how your office works, you can drill down in these reports. So on the left-hand side, I was in analytics and under reports. Let's have a look. I might not have access to that. Let's have a look at transactions. Sorry, just bear with me one moment. It's just taking a little while to load. So just bear with me one moment. There's quite a lot of data within the system. So sometimes this in our test account, so in our training module, so it might take, okay, here we go. All right, so in this report here, you'll be able to see, I mean, we've got quite a lot of people in arrears in this account. So we've got a total of 92.45% of tenants in arrears. This is the arrears total. How many days? 1 to 3, 4 to 7, 8 to 14, and 15 plus days. This would be a big worry. The great thing is here you can see arrears by portfolio. So who's got the highest arrears? A good way to track And if we scroll down, we'll be able to see things like days and dollar amounts, how it's all tracking. These, if you hover over, it will give you more information. And then if we scroll down, you'll be able to see the top 25 tenants that are in arrears, which is great. So there's quite a lot of different information that you can see here. You can then also filter down into portfolio, who's in arrears, how many days. So if you are having one-on-ones with your team, you might say, okay, what's happened here with Victoria Beckham? They're 140 days in arrears. What's happening with their breach notice? Have we gone to VCAT or QCAT? A really good way to sort of drill down within your arrears. And then you've got some totals down here. So something that you might be interested in looking at under analytics, and we were under the tenants. So we've got that available to you. Now, that is the end of our webinar, but there is a short poll that I do want to, and hopefully you can answer that for me. I'm just going to launch that now. So what was your favorite part of today's webinar, or your top tip? Was it adding in your own templates, having a look at your reports, or your forms integration? Okay, reports has been a big one. Awesome. That's really good. That's good to know because, it's the whole point of having these webinars where, you might find or learn something new in the system that you've never seen before. So that's really good. All right. So just in conclusion to what we've run through today, I just want to thank you for joining us. We will be sending out a short survey. If you could kindly fill that out, that would be much appreciated on how you felt today's webinar has gone. We do wish you all the best, and we hope that your arrears and these tips assist with that, and it's a little bit more efficient and streamlined. So thank you so much for your time, and have a wonderful rest of the day. Thank you.